Shalom, today is December 21st, and it is the 76th day of the war between Israel and Hamas. Let's take a look to the Hebrew newspapers, what Israelis are reading today. The first headline reads, the political officials knew about the largest Hamas tunnel that was exposed a few days ago. More details inside, we'll take a look in just a moment. The next is a sad story about a young couple that knew each other or became friends from kindergarten, and both of them died in the war. The girl died on October 7th in the massacre, and the boy was a soldier. He fell in battle a few days ago. It reads, from kindergarten until death, and here's a picture of them in kindergarten. On the phone, we see the two mothers are holding the phone with a picture of them. The two mothers are now friends, and they're saying their children brought them together. And here in the corner, we see the mighty ones of Israel, Giborei Israel, that fell in battle yesterday. Let's take a look into the first article. This article is about the expansion of the war. It's an opinion article saying they're calling the expansion of the war last errands in Gaza. And the opinion is that the IDF has been stating that they're expanding the area of battle because they do not have complete control over the northern part of Gaza. Terrorists are still surprising IDF soldiers from tunnel shafts and from buildings. And secondly, the IDF is smelling the end, merichim et hasof. And they're trying to get to more and more achievements before there will be a ceasefire declared. And it reads that the next stage will take place most likely in January, and many reserve soldiers will probably be sent back home, and the army will not be attacking so much, but rather it will be busy with creating a security piece of land about 1 kilometer deep that will separate between Gaza and the surrounding villages of Gaza that are in Israel. The next article is about the largest tunnel that was exposed a few days ago, but they say here that for 4 years they knew in the political and defense levels of Israel about the existence of this big terror tunnel, but they did nothing. In Hebrew, it reads, Velo asu davar, and they did nothing. It says this is how the IDF and the government buried their head in the sand. That's how they say it in Hebrew. Is that how you say it in English? To remind you, this tunnel is 4 kilometers long, and it almost reached the border with Israel. Here we see the tunnel, and it reads, everyone knew the large tunnel, or the massive tunnel next to the Erez crossing. And defense officials said, we asked the political leaders about this tunnel, and the political level said, quiet will be answered with quiet, meaning if Hamas is not doing anything, it's not attacking Israel, we will not attack the tunnels, we will answer in quiet. Apparently they didn't want a war, but Hamas obviously attacked and surprised Israel before Israel did anything. Next is the northern front. It reads that the residents of the northern border are concerned. Also, Hezbollah up in Lebanon have big tunnels that are used for terror. And says a series of great explosions took place yesterday that shook the whole Galilee. It was at around 8 a.m. yesterday. Many of the residents have been hearing many explosions for the last 2 months with this war going on, but this specific series was so strong, they're concerned that it has to do with underground tunnels, where IDF is exposing underground tunnels. The concerns of these residents coincides with the assessments of a research center, a security research center that has been exploring the defense situation in south of Lebanon since 2006, and they're saying that Iran and South Korea have been helping Hezbollah build this complex land of tunnels, as they call it, that reaches dozens of kilometers deep into Lebanon to the border with Israel. So there's much to be concerned about regarding the northern border of Israel. The next article exposes new details about the awful story of killing the 3 hostages by IDF soldiers who mistakenly thought they were terrorists. And it says the GoPro camera that was positioned on the head of the military dog exposes an amazing fact that the commando soldiers of the IDF battled terrorists within a building 5 days before they were killed without knowing that those terrorists were holding the hostages, the Israeli hostages. The names are Alon Shimriz, Rotem Magen, and Samer Talalka. The three shouted Hatzilu, in Hebrew, help, to the camera, but that camera was not checked in real time after the dog was shot dead by the terrorist. And in that, maybe there was an opportunity that was missed and maybe would have prevented their tragic death. The assessment is that these three hostages survived on their own 5 days in Sajaiya, in the northern part of Gaza. And in Haaretz, they say that here they have in the first headline, they read that the battalion commander commanded not to shoot Rotem Magen, which was the third hostage that ran away from the shooting while he was injured. But the soldiers did not hear him or did not recognize his voice as the battalion commander, and they shot him anyway as the battalion commander asked Rotem Magen to come out. So there's a big chaos, big mistake, big investigation. This story just makes me sick to my stomach. It's a very, very hard story. Quite amazingly, the parents of the hostages that were shot are quite forgiving towards the soldiers who shot them. And one mom of the hostages says in a recording to IDF soldiers, she said, "You're doing the best thing in the world. Do not hesitate for a moment when you see a terrorist. Don't think that you shot a hostage on purpose. You need to protect yourselves, because only in that way you can be protecting us." And she says, "I'm embracing you, I'm hugging you." And Prime Minister Netanyahu is considering to give medals of honor for valor to these three hostages that survived 70 days, managed to escape, and were shot by the IDF soldiers. The next article is about the mighty ones that will not return. Here is Oriel Cohen. He's 33 years old from Sur Adassa, and his wife says, "My Oriel, I became a better person since I've known you." And Lior Sivan, 32 years old, that saved his soldiers' lives by himself dying. The next article is about the wives of the reserve soldiers that have been in battle for many, many days now. And it reads, "Not only the husband is in reserve duty, but the whole family is, and we are crashing." They're crying out to the country to take care of them financially and emotionally, because they're functioning as single mothers, but without any single mother's rights. Next is about the evacuee families, the displaced families. Even though they're in nice hotel rooms, they say it is not like a pleasant vacation. It is a feeling of homelessness. And many of them are just shoved into one room. They want the kibbutz. They're missing the spacious green grass. And they really want to just go back home. But they are all supporting the IDF in continuing to battle Hamas. And they want the IDF to win and to battle as much as they need. So these are the main headlines of the Hebrew newspapers. For more stories, go to All Israel News. Follow us on social media. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video if you liked it. This is Rotem Magen for All Israel News.